Hi, welcome back to Seen and Heard. If you've been here before, you can tell I'm in a different location, so I'm a little confused being in a different place. No worries, I'm still in my apartment, but they're doing work on the street at the front of the apartment. So now you get to see a different view of my apartment. So welcome everybody. We have a before we talk about the wonderful class of 2020 of the Heart program and our relationship with the University of Hartford, I want to first hand this over, as I do every week, to my great partner and managing director, Cynthia. Hi. Over
Hi,
to you, Cynthia Ryder. I'll be right
thank
back.
you. Great. Lovely to be with you all again this week for Seen and Heard. So first, I just want to thank you for your support and participation here. It does all of us so much good to see how many people tune in every week to be with Melia and her guests this week. So I just have a couple of announcements and things that I wanted to share with you. First, just know we know that the governor of Connecticut is letting our state begin to try to reopen a little bit. We are still, of course, as a live performance venue, not in the early rounds of reopening, but it does give us a lot of hope to look towards the future when we may be able to gather again. So know that we are thinking of you and looking forward to the time when we can be in person again. Here's the great news. We met our $100,000 match. So many of you who have been listening in took up the challenge from our generous donors. I want to mention their names: Don and Marilyn Allen, John and Carrie Hammond, Bongi Mugabane, Marge Morrissey, and two anonymous donors issued a $100,000 challenge, and all of you met that challenge and met it with another $100,000. We now have $200,000 to help sustain us through this time as we get ready to start producing again. So we couldn't be more grateful. Of course, your donations are always vitally important to us and to other arts organizations. So if you are able and you haven't made a donation yet, we hope you will still go online to hartfordstage.org and give whatever you can to us or to other arts and culture organizations that you care deeply about. I'm sure you're others already supporting an incredible amount of organizations that need philanthropic help, and we're grateful for whatever you can do for us and for our colleagues in this sector. Also wanted to let you know that we are doing something new. We are doing our first online education class. So the incomparable teacher, Nina Pinchin, who many of you know is our Associate Director of Education, is going to be teaching classes for adults in scene study. So if you are just aching to be creative, maybe you've never tried a scene study class before, or maybe it's something you've done in the past and can't wait to get some more of, Nina's going to be teaching this online. Register on our website for 4 classes in June. We're limiting the capacity so people can really have Nina's time and attention. So take a look at that and be on the lookout. We're developing some more online offerings like this, we hope, for the summer and into the fall. So we're doing on that. And lastly, as we go into our program of celebrating our partnership with the Heart School and all the incredible talented students and faculty that we have the benefit of working with every year, I want to give a special thanks to the University of Hartford President Greg Woodard, and also Dean Larry Allen Smith and Theater Chair Alan Rust, who many of you also know from A Christmas Carol. This partnership with the Heart School has been so key to our success, and I'm really looking forward to the dialogue we're going to be able to have with their students, alumni, and faculty this evening. So congratulations to the graduates. We know that you're missing a lot of the live ceremony, but know that we are celebrating with you tonight and throughout this whole season of commencements. So back to you, Amelia.
Hi, thank you. There are few pleasures greater than being able to mentor or teach, and we all know, if you've ever taught, and if you've had the privilege of mentoring, you know how much we learn from those we teach and mentor. So it's a real joy to be part of this profession. As I wrote in the email that I sent out on Saturday, that one of the things I value most about this profession is its medieval guild energy still, and how much we continue to pass on knowledge through the generations. So it's really a great pleasure to dedicate this episode to the Heart School and its great class. I'm going to invite Scott on first to give us once again the rules of the road in case you haven't had enough Zoom in your life. I'm guessing you all know how to do this no matter what now. And to encourage you to ask questions throughout. But Scott, give us the play-by-play.
You probably all know this already, but welcome everybody. So great to have you with us tonight. We are in community tonight, and we love the interaction that can happen via this platform. So if you have a question, please go ahead and utilize that Q&A feature that you should be able to find on your Zoom, or you can chat with us if you have a question. We will be monitoring that throughout the night, and if you're on Facebook Live, we'll be monitoring those comments. So if you have a thought or a comment, we will throw it into the conversation to make sure that Melia and our panelists can hear that and it to be a part of the conversation. So thanks so much.
Great, thanks. I think there's a whole performance art piece to be done of all the Zoom instructions we've all received over this last 9 weeks, but we won't go there yet. Before we go into the great details of our relationship with Heart, I want to introduce my co-host, if you will. A fabulous woman who I'm honored to have on our staff, who it's been a great pleasure for me to get to know over this last almost a year that I've been connected to Hartford Stage. Rachel Alderman, Artistic Associate, hoping you can join.
Hi.
There you are. So glad to have you doing this with me throughout. You've been usually backstage, as it were, on Zoom, but this is fun.
Try to get used to the being front and center thing.
Hey, you know, here we are, two directors needing to be, I know.
Exactly.
Well, stranger things have happened in the last 9 weeks, so we'll adjust to circumstances as we can. Rachel, you know, this whole relationship with Heart and really the mentoring that's happened at our institution, you're actually kind of a great example of all of this. So I want to start today by introducing you. I want you to tell us in 2 minutes a bit about your history, and then I want you to introduce our first scene that we're going to get to hear.
Sure. So while I didn't go to Heart, I feel really closely connected to the Heart School and have benefited from the mentorship that was set up over 16 years ago. When I first came to Hartford Stage, I was part of the apprentice class during Michael Wilson's final season, and that was also the year that Max Williams, who has a long history with the Heart School and with Hartford Stage, came onto staff. And so that was my first year witnessing A Christmas Carol and meeting many of the Heart faculty and students. So my building of a relationship with them goes all the way back to 2010. But then I was just realizing that my first intern that I had when I taught a musical theater camp for teens at Northlight Theater in Skokie, Illinois in 2000 and blah, 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 was one of my interns was from the Heart School.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was just remembering that Jim Mateo, I think that was his last name.
If only we could, you know, right? Every Seen and Heard, we find these connections. We're all like intertwined beyond belief. So
crazy 6 degrees. I think he was a musical theater student. And so it just, he was my intern, and then I became an apprentice at Hartford Stage a few years later. And then I came back on staff, and now I get to be a really, just have a really wonderful relationship with each class that comes through and build my friendship with the faculty.
This is why you have to be on with me tonight. This is why you're stuck in performance mode by my side.
No place I'd rather be.
I'm going to hand this over to Rachel to introduce what we're about to see. But I'm sure you're all aware that through this pandemic, I think one of the losses to our profession has been this tremendous generation of BFA actors who had their showcases ready. This is part of what happens after 4 years in a BFA program, is you put together an evening of scenes and songs for musical theater kids and acting kids. And forgive me if I call you kids, you're all very young kids. There's a long road ahead for all of you. But we're really grateful that we get to showcase some of the University of Hartford students who didn't get to perform their showcase live. So having said that, Rachel, over to you to introduce them.
Sure. So these are our two wonderful 2020 grads. We have Pedro Fontes. Are you on? And also Meg Gwynn, who both Pedro and Meg were both in A Christmas Carol this past season, and Meg then became part of our Jane Eyre family and played a variety of roles in that show as well. And they happen to be sheltering in place. They're roommates, so we don't even have to worry about the 6 feet or the zooming. They can perform together for you this scene that they did in their showcase. And this is the first time that they're doing it for a large audience. So welcome, both of you. Thank you, guys. So this is from Constellations, right?
Yes.
By Nick Payne?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And why don't I just pass it on over to you?
Shame about the rain.
Nothing worse than a soggy barbecue.
So, are you a friend of Jane's, or
Who's Jane?
Jane's she's the lady having the barbecue?
Oh, right. No, I was just walking past and I saw a load of free booze and sausages. I'm joking.
Oh.
Jane and I went to college together. And you?
I play soccer with Tom.
Tom?
Jane's brother-in-law. In the bluey-green t-shirt.
Yes.
So, do you want a drink?
No, thanks, I'm fine.
So, what do you do for a living?
I teach at NYU.
Oh, right. Great.
And yourself?
I'm a beekeeper.
Really?
Yeah.
You're really a beekeeper.
I'm really a beekeeper.
I fucking love honey.
Oh, really?
Yes, spoon, jar of honey, heaven.
And what sort of honey do you normally go for?
Too embarrassed.
Why?
Too embarrassed to tell you.
Why?
I like the really dirty stuff, like Kirkland's.
It's fine.
Really?
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm not putting honest, hardworking beekeepers out of business.
You are not.
Do you think I'm a honey philistine?
You know, some of the supermarket stuff's all right.
Really?
Yeah, some of it's fine.
So, and don't take this the wrong way, but
Go on.
do you make a living?
I do. Yeah,
I mean from beekeeping.
from beekeeping.
How?
Well, I was first introduced to it in Lisbon, Portugal. That's where I'm
Oh,
from.
very nice.
After a while, though, I wanted to go into business on my own. But my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend.
No, I'm sorry for your loss.
What?
I was making a joke.
Oh, right.
Sorry for your loss, as in like.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, so she, my ex, she wanted to move to New York City, so we got this one-bed apartment in Washington Heights.
Fuck me, I'd have broken up with her too if she made me leave Lisbon, Portugal for fucking Washington Heights.
I'm still living there, actually.
Lovely Dominican food.
There wasn't any room for bees.
Oh, bummer.
We didn't have a garden.
That sucks.
One day, though, I was up on the roof, and I realized it was perfect. So, I cleaned it up a bit, and I got my first hive.
Amazing.
I went from 1 to 2, 2 to 4. We went away, me and Laura. We went away to Spain, and when we got back, we found out that the place had been raided.
Rated.
I used to keep the honey in trash bags. You know those black plastic trash bags?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so, you know, the trash bags were just a cheap alternative. When we were away, though, one of the neighbors called the police. Thought there was a Breaking Bad situation or something, and they really went for it, the police. They turned the apartment upside down, and they confiscated all these trash bags filled with the most amazing honey and honeycomb.
Did that really happen?
Yeah.
You really kept honey in trash bags?
Yeah. I'm Roland.
Marianne.
So wonderful, you guys. So I just want the audience on Seen and Heard to know that you are the first people to see this performance, right? Because the showcase didn't happen, right, you guys?
You are the
Right.
showcase.
You are the showcase.
I
Seen and Heard live. It's a wonderful play. So, and you two could really pull this off. Thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, I wanted to just quickly ask briefly, what was it like jumping onto Hartford Stage's stage in your last year of college? Anybody want to jump in?
What I loved about it, what I learned so much was like how to do a show for so long, because at college we only do a show for like four performances, so
Right.
it was good to learn how to like keep the
Sustain.
energy. Yeah. So that's what I learned the most about stage.
It's
Nice.
great. And I think what happens, Rachel, don't you think, and over to you guys as well, that having professional actors with student actors is inspiring for everybody, because you guys see how even an actor who's done a role 1,000 times is still as focused and meticulous and checks their props and so forth before show, and they get to feel your energy and enthusiasm for a first time. So it's just the best mix.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm really
I
glad.
was fortunate with being able to do Jane Eyre as well as Christmas Carol, and getting two very different processes in the professional theater setting, whereas Christmas Carol was something that was so set, like
Right.
you do the show versus Jane Eyre, which was being worked on all the way up until opening, essentially.
Right. You guys had new
Yeah.
cuts every day of previews. You guys were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the really short rehearsal process for Christmas Carol and the world premiere of Jane Eyre, that's a really nice combo for your final year of school.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I need an essay from you, that experience, so I can post it on our
I'll
website.
get it right to you.
Okay, good.
Thanks so much.
You're not- Thanks, you guys. You were wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Great.
So Rachel, am I doing the next introduction, or
Yes, if I would love it if you would invite this wonderful human on.
Okay, so I have a soft spot in my heart for this wonderful human being. This person was not only the president of University of Hartford when this partnership began, but selfishly, I will ever be his fan since he was the chair of the search committee that hired me to your community, to your theater. So Walt, are you there? I want to welcome Walt. Walter Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. Is he coming on? I think he is.
We'll be on in just a second. Yes.
He's got his Santa Claus beard now, so don't be fooled.
It's part of the pandemic look,
That's right.
right?
So it's really extraordinary what Walt did for the university and for Hartford Stage in supporting this partnership. Hi, Walt.
I got knocked out somehow.
I don't know.
You were saying all those nice words about me. I was just overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, perhaps the gift of you creating this partnership has now been dissolved by your hiring me. It's unclear.
No. I'm proud of both things.
Well, so Rachel, we have folks to join Walt, and then we'll
We
talk
do.
about this partnership.
Yeah. Is Alan Rust? Are you around? And also Bob Davis, if you are on as well. We've got
Fun.
two more great humans, actors and teaching and theater professors themselves, a dean and a head of a department. We just keep bringing on these awesome people.
And, for me, this is particularly meaningful because right before I came to Hartford Stage, I was chair of a theater program at Emerson College. And it was actually my responsibility to direct the showcase and to work with the senior BFA actors and musical theater students. And so it gives me even more pleasure to be connected to a theater that was wise enough and had such great leadership, both at Hartford Stage and at the university, Walt, and Alan, that we could all be here together celebrating the class.
I think Alan is working on getting online.
I see Alan.
Oh, you
I
do?
see Alan and Bob.
Oh, Alan, Alan just texted me. Okay, great.
Here
We're here.
Here they are.
You made it work.
Wonderful. Nice
Thank
to
you,
see you.
gentlemen, for joining us. Look, it's Bob.
Oh.
You're missing a beard.
I know, I didn't get the memo, sorry.
Oh, all right.
I think you're the only one that's an active administrator.
That's right, I have to, hold up my end of things.
So would you take us back to the impulse for this partnership? We'd love to hear the journey, just a little bit about the beginning.
Well, when Michael Wilson first came, I met him in the summer out on the Cape where I was running a theater. And I said, I understand you're going to do a production of A Christmas Carol. I would love to audition for that if you'd let me. You probably saw me in it sitting on your father's knee when you were growing up at the North Carolina Shakespeare Festival. And he said, yeah, I did. And then I never heard from him.
North Carolina Shakespeare Festival?
Right.
With Lou Rakoff?
Yeah.
I did several shows there. That's all. I didn't know that about you. I'm muting again. Over to you.
I never heard back from Michael, but that fall in October, I got a call from Hartford Stage Costume Shop asking if I could come in for a fitting. And I said, I'm sure I can. What's it for? He forgot to tell me that he had cast me in the play. So that's how it started. And then after a couple of years, I had in our first class, I know this is someone that's on today, but an extraordinary young actor and very talented and brilliant young man who clearly wanted to go into the directing world, which we didn't teach. So I went to Michael and I said, I've got this great guy. He would be a terrific intern. Would you take him on? And he did. And it was Max Williams. And it was around that time that they started asking if they could audition some of our students to play primarily the apparitions in A Christmas Carol. And at the same time, there was a thing called Brand New, if you remember, about new plays, readings. It was really wonderful. And a number of our faculty, myself included, would be in those from time to time. And they started using our students in those to read the stage directions. And then eventually Michael came over to the campus and we talked about the possibility of a partnership that was more formalized. And so we went to the dean, who was Malcolm Morrison at the time, and talked to him about it. And he said, it's a great idea. And that's how it all started. And other members of the faculty have been a part of it over the year. There was a year, I don't know whether you guys know this, where there were two companies.
No.
There was one that did all the mornings and there was one that did all the evenings.
Rob was part of that year, right?
Part of that, right? I've heard the stories.
I was in the morning company, yes.
And a lot of our other faculty, his wife was in it and other people as well.
And wasn't there a year where it was you, Anne Marie, and one of your children?
That's right.
It was a family affair.
Marie and I were playing the Cratchits, and our son Daniel, who was actually in the production before we were, he'd been in it for a couple of years before we were in it. There was one year where he was playing Peter Cratchit, and so we were both acting and parenting on stage at the same time.
I don't know how you do that. My children don't take direction at home. I would never put them on the stage.
Oh, and he was 12 years old, so you can imagine. You know?
I can't. I don't want to.
It was wonderful.
And now that I see the impulse and the drive, what is unique about the relationship between, just for people that don't follow academia or theater, what's unique about the relationship between an undergraduate BFA program and a regional theater?
There aren't very many at all, really. I think maybe the Guthrie has one. Usually that's done with graduate programs at various places. We're one of the only ones, undergraduate BFA programs that have this extraordinary opportunity. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity for our students. It puts their foot in the profession before they leave school. And I'm sure any one of them will tell you that it's life-changing and eye-opening and all of that. I'm assuming it's also valuable for Hartford Stage, but it's amazing for those of us at the Hart School to be able to offer this to our students.
I'll just add, it was a real draw for me to come to Hartford Stage, knowing that there was this relationship and how committed Hartford Stage was towards the next generation of artists. I think it makes all of us better. It makes, us bitter old theater makers pay attention and be our best selves. So it's a wonderful thing. And we learn, as I said before, we learn from them.
And
super.
Bob, how has it enhanced your experience being an actor and a professor in Hartford?
Well, I always say that I teach better when I'm also working as an actor. When I have a class at 8:30 in the morning, and then I have half hour at 10 a.m. for Christmas Carol, and then I have to come back again and do another class in the afternoon. I just think my teaching is better. I'm more energized. I'm more focused. I say to the students, I know why you need this thing that I'm about to teach you, because I was just trying to do it myself 10 minutes ago.
Right.
And so that's a huge part of it for me. It just makes my teaching feel more vibrant, more alive. And I know that, it's the people at Hartford Stage that they get to work with. It's like a little master class every time they're in a performance. I think everybody on your panel today has worked with Noble Shropshire, for instance. And every time I watch them in rehearsal with him or in performance, I think you're getting a master class right here, working with this man. He's a wonderful actor, great, generous man, and they all get to work with him and know him, and that's just worth gold. It's just an amazing thing for them.
We're gonna look at a Christmas Carol picture right now. Let's see some of the.
There we go.
There are these guys. There are these guys. While we're looking at this, can I just, Walt, what did you think when this idea came your way? I mean, were you already part of the Hartford Stage Board?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I might have been, I can't remember exactly, but I was either about to be the president or the president of the board.
So it was sort of a lucky confluence that you were connected to the theater when this proposal came on your desk, across your desk.
Yeah, I when I became president of the university in 1998, the acting training program was 2 years old. And I watched it grow under Malcolm and then under Alan. And I realized that it had the opportunity to be one of the great acting training programs in the country. And I knew that Hartford Stage was one of the great regional theaters in the company. So Alan and Michael devised this idea, and they came to me only because I knew how to find money. And I did.
It's why we still come to you for that.
It's a good skill.
But it was really it was a pleasure to be able to find the money to support what's really a matchless opportunity for our students and good for the Hartford Stage at the same time.
Agreed. It's really a gift.
And you've also developed leaders, and let's bring on one of those leaders. Is Max around? Speaking of people that you identify early on as having some kind of it factor.
Absolutely. Max, who I've yet to meet.
Well, there he is.
Amelia, well, it's good to meet you for the first time, however, virtually. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Alan, Bob, Walt. So good to see you guys.
Well, Max, you're a wonderful story. So let's hear the Maxwell Williams story, because it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking how kind the words are that people have been saying to me, and that there's no earthly way to that I live that my complete self. But I appreciate the kind words. I met, like so many things with my relationship to the Hart School and to Hartford Stage and to the city of Hartford. Fortuitous things happen to sort of make it all come together, I feel like. I was hearing Alan tell that story about having the connection going back to North Carolina with Michael, and then it made me think of when I was a senior, went up to San Francisco. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I went up to San Francisco to do the auditions, combined auditions, and I actually walked into the Hart audition. It was the first year they were just launching that program. I was in the first graduating class of the actor training program, and Alan really taking the time, and Malcolm in my audition, to talk about their vision for the program. And I really felt like leaving that if they if they wanted me, that I would really like to go there, because it seemed like to be in at the beginning of what was clearly going to become such an exciting journey and exciting place. But also, my mother shared office space. She did not work with this woman, but shared office space with a woman named Mary Cover. And Mary's son is an actor named Bradford Cover, wonderful actor, that Alan trained at in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, as part of their graduate program before they came to Hart. And so Mary was able to talk to my mom and kind of let my mom know, these are great guys, it'll be good training, and sort of commiserate on the very fact that her son wanted to attend a performance conservatory and get a BFA, because I'm not sure that was mom's original vision for how all this was going to turn out. But then, too, like Alan said, we spent those 4 years there, and it's actually a week ago right now, members of that first graduating class and faculty got on a Zoom call with each other, because, several months ago, we sort of clocked that this marks our 20-year anniversary of graduating from the Hart School. So two of my classmates, Robert Martin and Will Fisher, and we're working with Alan and Diana Mola Marino, who's on the faculty there at Hart, to put together a weekend reunion, for us and for the classes kind of below us who are around at the same time. Well, obviously that did not occur. But then I think it was Marin Ireland, who you had on a few weeks ago, had the bright idea to do it virtually. And it was just so moving to see, that group. You spend these 4 years in a very intense training environment. Those programs, unlike, for those who don't know, unlike kind of a normal college experience, certainly we attended classes and lectures and seminars and stuff, but you really are focused with a group of maybe 10 to 20 people. I think we ended up actually graduating with 13, and you do all your curricula together. So it's important that group gel, and over that period of time, a very strong bond is made. And then later on, this isn't really the Max Williams story, but I've just been so heartened to come in across in the profession the way that sort of Hart folks will kind of look out for each other. I mean, we've got some actors down, I'm in New Orleans now, running a theater in New Orleans, and there's some actors who are Hart graduates, and they appear in our plays, and they work at the box office. And I'm thinking also of Douglas Lyons, who's become an amazing playwright and creator of theater. And I went to, directed by Michael Wilson, actually, to a presentation of one of his latest projects several months ago, that was at Joe's Pub. And just to know, with that group and young but Broadway veteran actors, and amongst them several Hart students, because, Doug, his time here was so meaningful for him too, and he's kind of passed it on as well. So
I want to jump in here and say, you're talking about some great people from the musical training program, Joe's Pub, and some other wonderful artists that I've come across in auditions out of the MT program, as it were. And we have someone online, excuse me, named Sarah Milnemau. Is she up and running with the Zoom?
Join us, Sarah.
She's coming on now.
Great. And so she's one of these fabulous musical theater performers that was part of, hi, Sarah.
Hi.
That was part of our Christmas Carol family. And also I saw speaking of Doug Lyons, I saw his new work at Goodspeed, featuring in the Goodspeed Festival with some MTs a couple years ago. And Sarah, we thought maybe you could celebrate that musical theater lineage and sing for us a little something. Would you mind?
Oh yeah, I think I did something.
Yeah, just pull it out of your head.
Okay, this is Vanilla Ice Cream from She Loves Me. Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way. But together, you and I will laugh at last night someday. cease. Will wonders never cease. It's been the most peculiar day. Will wonders never cease. Will wonders never cease. So, where was I? I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way. Put together the night of last night someday. I sat there waiting in that cafe and never guessing that you were fat. That you were near. You were outside looking bold. Dear. Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. Last night, I was so nasty. Well, he deserved it, but even so, that George is not like this George. This is a new George that I don't know. Somehow, it all reminds me of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When right before my eyes, a man that I despise has turned into a man I like. It's almost like a dream, and strange as it may seem, he came to offer me
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Oh, that was the greatest.
And you're with us from Massachusetts right now? That's where you're sheltering?
Yes, yes.
Where?
I'm in Northborough, Massachusetts, which is like, it's like 20 minutes outside of Worcester. Yeah, it's like rural. Yeah.
And can I ask you just throw a little question at you? You were our flying ghost this year.
Yes.
So apparently you said that's now on your special skills. How was that trip for you? Would you tell us a little bit about it?
It was unlike any skill in the theater that I've ever, like, it's obviously not in our training, but like Hartford Stage is one of those big theaters where you can make magic like that happen. And so just to be like a part of, like, you know, all the little kids like pointing at me, and sometimes they'd see me when they weren't supposed to, so I would just go down in the rafters. So it was just like, it just all felt really magical and surreal. And I was always that kid who, like, if I had one superpower, I would want to fly. So just to have that like come true, I know that sounds kind of silly, but
no, it's great.
It was really awesome. Yeah.
I'm glad we could make that dream come true for you. It doesn't always happen that way.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me perform.
We will see you perform again and again, I have a feeling, right?
Gosh.
We all know this.
God years. I really hope so.
I know. We will.
Congrats on graduation.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Great stuff.
Thank you.
And now we've got some other alumni that have joined us, and I think some more fun stories from the past will come out if we bring them online right now. So we have, and Scott, you tell us if they're available and ready. We've got Sarah Killow, Steve French, and Ronnie Bowen Jr., right? And I think that's the crew we've got coming on board. And all of these people have different connections to all the rest. Hey, and all the rest of the panelists here. And there's Sarah with Alan at Monomoy, and as the ever popular sister, and Steve in 39 Steps, which is awesome. And Ronnie, who was in Breakdancing Shakespeare, which we'll have to talk to him about, growing up in Hartford. And then most recently I saw him, and many of you did too, in the national tour of Anastasia when it came through the Bushnell. We got a chance to see Ronnie on that on that big stage. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Oh,
Hello,
Hi, guys.
everyone. It's good to see everyone.
welcome back to Hartford Stage.
Good to be back.
Sarah, you're in such a beautiful location. Where are you? You're outdoors.
You're muted.
Can't hear
Oh,
you.
there you go. Yeah. We don't hear you.
No.
Now.
We'll get you.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Maybe Scott can help you. Steve, how are you doing?
I will be.
Is she there? I'm fine. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good.
Are I in a beautiful location too? Isn't
You
this cool?
are. You are absolutely stunning. And actually, to circle back, I think I met Steve when I was an apprentice. You were in 39 Steps.
That would have been your
Going
first
back-
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
2011. Yeah.
Going back to the Max Williams story. So Max, you jumped into directing when you hit Hartford Stage. At what point was that? And when was your first show that you directed at Hartford Stage? It wasn't 39. It was Dying City.
It was
What
Dying
that?
City, Christopher Shin's Dying City. Well, you know, I graduated thinking that I was going to pursue a career as a performer. And then sort of Alan and then Michael came to me and said, you know, there's this opportunity, you should really go check this out, you know, and I was all champing at the bit to get to New York and, you know, and audition and all that. And I remember specifically Alan saying, New York will be there. So happened that eventually I did move to New York on September 15th, 2001, but that's a whole other story. So it was like barely there. And you know, I had directed a project while I was at Hart, kind of separate in the Colt building, where we just brought in all this sandbox and we did a production of Lysistrata in the sandbox in the Colt building. It's kind of nuts. So Alan knew I had this interest and maybe a mind for it. Jury's still out on that one, to tell you the truth. But so I spent a year at Hartford Stage interning. And assisted all the directors that season, and then really formed a relationship with Michael and was his assistant and associate director on many plays, including A Christmas Carol for many years. And then in 2008, he kind of gave me my first, I did my first show at, and with Sarah and Steve are also alums of that from previous years. So, you know, that's kind of how it went. I'm sure Steve will bring this up, but I also want to say on the Hart Connection end of things, we've actually just been collaborating within the last several days because down here we're doing some programming of some radio dramas. And Steve, as you can see from the booth that he's sitting in, is a highly accomplished, voiceover artist. And so he's really helped us to figure out not only some of that technology, but also lent his talent to the.
Nice. The collaboration continues. Hey, Steve, I hear you have an interesting story about your time at Hartford Stage and something about your equity card. Will you fill us in?
Yeah. So, thank you all for having me. I'm so humbled you asked me to do this. I don't know why you thought I should talk here, but I first worked at Hartford Stage in 2003. I did Christmas Carol, and then had an amazing opportunity immediately following that. Michael was directing The Mystery of Irma Vep, which anybody who doesn't know that is the great Charles Ludlam play, which is a quick change act for 2 actors. And I auditioned, and they had me understudy both guys. I never went on. I don't even know that there was a plan for me to go on. I think it was sort of an amazing Hartford Stage thing of like, let's give this kid a chance. And it was like the most incredible getting to watch these guys. And I would do understudy rehearsals where I do the entire play myself. Just go work at the theater for a couple months, kid. It was that kind of thing. So that's like another reason why Hartford is so close to my heart. But then a couple years later, the theater was doing Othello. And through a series of things, lost an actor, and I was understudying, and then people moved up in the cast, and then I replaced Cassio. And because of the length of the contract, Emily Vanscoy pulled me out during a rehearsal one day, just in the lobby. I was just sitting there, and she goes, "Steve, can I talk to you for a second?" And she goes, you're replacing Cassio, and you're getting your equity card.
Emily
God.
Vanscoy, casting director to the stars. There
Yes,
Right?
yeah. She actually at one point said, "Well, as your agent, I would advise you."
That
But
must have been a crazy moment.
yeah, so like on a dime, all of a sudden I became an equity actor, and so the theater gave me my equity card, and so many other incredible. The reason I'm sitting in this booth is because I worked with Bill Raymond, who amazingly one day just said, "Give me your demo, your voiceover demo. I'll take it into my." He doesn't talk like that. Give me your demo. I'll take it into my agents, and he did, and that also changed my life because suddenly I had these voiceover agents and started working, and so now this is what I'm doing, and it's all because of Hartford Stage.
And
Incredible.
that's amazing. I mean, that's the connective tissue. That's the passing it up and passing it down and then collaborating sideways. And that's exactly what this is all about. And Ronnie, you go back even before Heart with us, right? You got your connective tissue starts with breakdancing Shakespeare. Were you a high school student at the time? Will you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't even know if everyone knows. My first encounter with Hartford Stage was A Christmas Carol in 2004. I was one of the children.
I
was a schoolboy and an urchin. So I did A Christmas Carol, I think it was 2004, which was my second show ever in my entire life. And then after that, I understudied Travis in A Raisin in the Sun at Hartford Stage as well. Fast forward maybe 6 years, then I did breakdancing Shakespeare I think it was the summer after I graduated high school. And then the summer after my freshman year at Hart, I did Two Gentlemen of Verona at breakdancing Shakespeare as well. Yes.
I did not realize.
And that was great because it was great to see the educational program of Hartford Stage and how they were still developing and still are developing great pieces of theater for youth actors, young actors that desire to take this on as a profession.
What was the impulse to apply to Hart and follow this path very specifically? Where did that come from?
Probably because I'm from Windsor, Connecticut, so I knew of the University of Hartford and I knew of the Hart School. And I remember I auditioned, and I auditioned at maybe 8 or 9 conservatory programs and liberal arts programs. And they sat me in the room and they wanted to know who I was. They wanted to see the talent, but they also took the most time in the room to ask me what I like to do outside of theater, where I come from, if I was the only child. And it goes back to what Max was saying about Hart is a really big family, and we have so many people in different parts of performing arts. My agent actually is a Hart alum, Jeremy Sickles. I'm with Daniel Hoff Agency, and he graduated from Hart as a BFA music theater major. So it's like we have a little bit of everyone in every department of the performing arts.
That's incredible. And what were you going to say, Amelia?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, seeing these faces and hearing these connections, and it just makes you realize how important professional theater in a community can be. That it influences generations of theater makers. It influences all these students and all of you extraordinary now professional artists. And who knows where else we touch in the community, right? I mean, I'm just very moved by it, given that it's not necessarily my history, but now I'm really honored to continue the legacy.
The intergenerational nature of this whole experience is really powerful. And every year when we come back to Christmas Carol, I think about that, the kids and the Hart students and the faculty and the equity cast. And Sarah, do we have your audio or are we not?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So speaking of that connective tissue, Sarah's been in A Christmas Carol how many seasons now?
I think it's a total of 8.
A total of 8. So you were in it, and then when you were a student, and then you came back directly following your graduation, or how was that? No,
because the one year I didn't do it was 2010, Rachel.
Oh, right. That's why I didn't know.
So
you
that's why I didn't meet you.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So I did it as a student in 2009, and then I went home for Christmas in 2010, and then in
What a weird thought. To go home for
in 2011, I ran into Max at Chelsea Studios.
Oh my God.
We were both waiting for the elevator, and he was like, Sarah. And I said, hey, Max, how's it going? He's like, you did Christmas Carol, right? And I said, yeah. He said, what are you doing for Christmas? I did a little audition for him, and then I joined the team.
Yeah, and it's a really beautiful part that you play, not only in the show and all the various characters that you inhabit, but also the link that you are between the current Heart students and the Equity Ensemble, creating that bridge.
Right. When I first came back in 2011, the students were friends of mine. I mean, I'd only graduated a couple of years before. But when I was a student, secrets of Hartford Stage were shared with me. And so I feel like that's partly my responsibility to share that with everyone.
Sure.
How to get around. Secrets about running to the lobby when you're a ghost, because that's where the scared kids go. So it's another chance to terrify children.
Oh no. That's awful.
Yeah. Well, there was one time I was running through, and this terrified child, I'll never forget it. He stared me down. He goes, careful, I know karate. So I took a wide berth.
I have to admit that the first time I saw The Wonderful Christmas Carol, I was sitting next to Walt Harrison. It was my interview weekend at Hartford Stage. And I embarrassed myself perhaps by weeping copiously at the end. But then a year later, seeing it under, once again, Rachel's masterful direction.
Which I learned from Max's masterful direction.
Which he learned from here he comes. Wait, Michael, are you there now? I'm going to bring on Michael Wilson because, I can't resist. But I was just going to say the ghost scared the shit out of me in the upper lobby.
In the upper lobby.
Michael, look, Mom.
Michael.
So,
Max Williams. Oh my goodness. Look at all of these people.
Yeah, but you're in Maine, so you're in and out as always. This Maine thing is driving me crazy with you.
Well, actually, it had more to do with SDC this time.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Michael.
Good to see everybody.
Michael, I need to thank you for this extraordinary relationship. I thank Michael and Alan and Walt and Bob for making it possible for all of us to be talking about this, handing the baton and sharing in what we know about this craft with each other. I'm so grateful.
Well, it's one of the things that I think really makes Hartford Stage unique. It is such the Hart School and the relationship with the larger university is such a tremendous asset, not just locally to the community, but what it does internally to the constant resiliency and reimagining and the way that the young artists are reawakening all of the older folks that lest we get stuck in our ways, here comes Steve French, to kind of shake things up. And I think it's so wonderful when the students are asking questions that you've stopped asking yourself.
It's so true.
And you have to then begin to explore those again. And I don't know, I just think the Hart School has, in my years, Millie, they added so much to the life of the theater. And I'm glad you feel so positively about that element as well.
I do. I mean, I just feel like this is the way that our theater, one of the many ways our theater thrives in the community, is to have this relationship and sponsor all of you extraordinary people and continue your building of craft even as you teach us.
Mm-hmm.
So
the great theaters always had some kind of training component to them.
Absolutely.
I always loved watching Alan and Bob and Joanna and Anne Marie, and the teaching, and then running back to rehearsals, and then performing, and then going back to teach classes, and and of course, Max Williams, was kind of a unique kind of beginning to it all, because it had its catalyst in a director who was an actor too, and I don't mean to denigrate your acting talents there, but I think you've made tremendously more contributions as a director and as an artistic director, and so I don't know. There's so many ways I think the relationship's going to reveal itself.
We're almost out of time. So I want to first take a moment to congratulate the class of 2020. So to say,
yes,
bravo, here they are.
Yes.
Extraordinary group. I've been so privileged to meet them. They're my first year, your last year as students. But life is long and the profession is small. We will all stay connected, and I have no doubt that we will cross paths with all of you again. So to the class of 2020, congratulations. They've been, the seniors this year have suffered an unfair blow, and perhaps karma will restore what has been lost. I don't know, right? So we celebrate all of you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And since you mentioned Anne Marie and Joanna, we have them joining us for our beautiful poem that we're going to share with everyone. And since we knew you might want to see their faces too, and we certainly
Here they come. So Jo Morrison, a teacher at the Hart School, accomplished actress and vocal coach, a beloved member of the Hartford stage family. She's been, of course, in Christmas Carol, Noises Off, Darko's most recent Comedy of Errors, many others. Jo, are you on? Join us. And then Anne Marie Davis, faculty at the Hart School, who serves as stage management, as the stage movement specialist, not stage management, ignore me, it's a whole different field, directs, choreographs, and performs. Also a licensed professional counselor at the Counseling Center of Greater Hartford. I'm guessing you're really busy these days, Anne Marie. We need you a lot, right?
Hello.
Hello, Jo.
Hi. Sorry, I got blocked out, just like a few others. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Great to see you. Very special.
This is I am just the grateful inheritor of all the efforts all of you have made to build this extraordinary relationship. And Michael, particularly a thank you from 6 to 4, as you and I like to carry on and say. I should really be wearing, Michael gave me great gifts when I first became artistic director. Michael, I need you to know my daughter stole my Hartford sweatshirt.
What?
Ilana. I love that.
Ilana.
I wanted to see you in it. But
yeah.
But you have your own Mary Richards cap too,
I
right?
have my Mary Richards cap. At some point, maybe on Seen and Heard, I will throw my cap in the air as Michael envisioned me doing. At this moment, we're going to read a poem. We're going to try something new today. We're going to actually share the poem with all of you so you can read it alongside all of us. This is a poem called Threshold by Maggie Smith. And Michael's going to start us off. This is really an invocation to the next generation, a welcoming to this profession. It's sometimes a brutal line of work, but most of the time it gives back much more than it takes. So we welcome the class of 2020 to become not just apprentices, but colleagues in this extraordinary business. Michael, take it away.
Thank you. And as I begin to read, I want to take a nod towards Malcolm Morrison, also our late great, who helped create this relationship. Wouldn't be happening without him. God bless you, Malcolm. And God bless all of the graduates. We're so thrilled you'll be coming into the profession and the art form to help us bring it back.
That's right. Thank you, Michael.
You want a door you can be on both sides of at once.
You want to be on both sides of here.
And there, now and then, together and...
What did we call the life we would wish back?
The old life, the before, alone, but any open.
Space, maybe a threshold, an arch.
Of entering and leaving, crossing a field, waiting.
Through nothing but Timothy grass.
Imagine yourself passing from and into, passing through.
Doorway after doorway after doorway.
Beautiful. Thank you all so much. I'm so moved every week by this, but this week in particular, thank you to all you young next generation of people who will shape this field and change all of us. And to those of us who are old but will still keep working, here to us.
Here. Thank you, Amelia, so much. It's been very moving.
Oh, this is just lovely because you all matter so much to this theater. We need all the generations working together. It's always been the way with the theater. It's always been teacher-student and mentor and protege, and it's always been us all learning from each other. So stay with us. We'll now bring on our whole community, my favorite moment, honestly. So we'll start bringing in all the videos and all your mics. You can all talk now. It's amazing. So we'll raise our glasses, of course. I do ask you to think about subscribing to next season. We will go on. The show will go on. The War of the Grease Paint and so forth. We're all too invested in Hartford Stage and Hartford to not vibrant part, right? So to all of you, next week we are going to take a break from Seen and Heard.
No.
Oh my God! Thank you so much. Memorial Day week. So we're going to take a week away. We want you to miss us and have extraordinary programming for June, truly. But we just will take next week as a holiday week. I want to, in this toast, also welcome back our furloughed employees who, thanks to the PPP, were able to rejoin us. So, thank you. I wish we had everybody back, but I'm grateful to all of you who are here. I'm extraordinarily grateful to the staff, to all of you wonderful people, to better years ahead, to better times ahead, but to the joy of connection and artistry together. So to Hartford Stage and to all of you. And
Hartford Stage.
2020.
Thank you, everybody.
Class of 2020. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.